My name is Sarab. I am 26 years old. I live in a beautiful tourist city. Our city has many hotels. My parents were poor and weak. Since I was a teenager, I had to work. I became a maid in a hotel. Many people came and went in the hotel. Good people and bad people. Polite people and rude people. I met all kinds of people every day. My job was to clean the rooms. I had to make the beds. I had to wash the floors. I had to change the towels and the sheets. The work was hard. The pay was small. Every day I was tired. There was no happiness in my life. I only worked, without a smile, without joy. One day, a man came to the hotel. He rented a room for 1 month. His name was Adam. He was an older man, about 60 years old. His hair was gray. He wore an expensive coat. He was rich, but his face was calm and kind. I cleaned his room every day. He always smiled at me. When I finished my work, he gave me a tip. Very politely he said, "Thank you for your work." Sometimes, when he was in the hotel lobby, he bought me coffee. Sometimes he gave me a small chocolate. I was shy, but I said thank you. I felt something strange. He treated me like a father. I also looked at him like a father. One day, when I was very tired, he saw me. He said, "Sarab, you work too much. Please take care of yourself." His voice was gentle. My heart felt warm. Nobody had spoken to me like that for a long time. At night, when I went back to my small room in the hotel, I thought about my work. I remembered Adam's tips, his coffee, his smiles. I felt that someone in this world still cared about me. Each day, seeing Adam made me feel calm. He told me about the books he read. He told me about his travels. I listened, and I felt calm. I knew he was much older than me. I knew our lives were different, but his presence took me out of my loneliness. Slowly, I understood that I was waiting to see him. When he came into the lobby, my heart beat calmer. When he was not there, I felt his absence. The days passed slowly. Adam stayed in the hotel. Every morning I cleaned his room. He always greeted me with a smile. He always said kind words. Sometimes he sat in the lobby with a book. When I passed by, he looked up and smiled. Sometimes he asked, "How are you today, Sarab?" I always said, "I am fine." But inside, I was not fine. I was tired. One evening, he gave me a small flower. "This is for you," he said. It was only a simple flower, but I had never received one before. I held it carefully. I felt shy, but I also felt happy. Day by day, Adam became important to me. He was not just a guest in the hotel. He was a part of my day. When he was there, the world felt softer. When he was not, the world felt empty. I knew he was rich. I knew he was old. But when he looked at me, I did not feel poor. I did not feel small. I felt seen. I felt that my life had value. One rainy evening, I was cleaning the hall. He came to me and said, "Sarab, you are young. Life is not only work, You need rest. You need happiness. His words touched me. My eyes were wet, but I smiled. For me, Adam was like a father. I never thought of him in another way. He was much older than me, but he was kind. He was special to me. He was different from the others. When he spoke to me, I listened like a daughter. When he gave me advice, I felt safe. His words were like a warm blanket on a cold night. I wanted him to be comfortable. I wanted him to be happy. One quiet evening after dinner service, he asked me to sit with him in the lobby. His eyes were gentle but serious. "Sarab," he said, "you are special to me. You are not only a maid. You are a kind, strong young woman. I want to ask you something." My hands felt cold. I waited. He looked into my eyes. "Will you marry me?" he asked. I froze. I could not speak. My heart beat fast. Marry? I had never imagined this. For me, he was like a father, nothing more. I liked him. I was used to him. With all my heart, I respected him. But I never thought of marriage. Never. For me, Adam was a good man, an elder, a safe person in my lonely world. I looked down. My mind was full of questions. My chest felt heavy. I did not know what to say. I asked his permission and left the room. That night, I did not sleep. I thought and thought. I felt shy to say no to him. He had been so kind to me, but I had made a mistake. I had thought his kindness was fatherly. Now I was standing at a strange crossroad. I did not love him as a husband, but I did not want to break his heart. On the other side, I had lived many years in poverty and sadness. I always wished for a normal life. If I married him, I could have that life. I could also help my poor parents. In the morning, with tired eyes and a heavy heart, I went back to work. He was sitting in the lobby, looking at the beautiful hotel garden. I greeted him, and without any long words, I said, "Yes, I will marry you." His face lit up with joy. He took my hands gently and said, "I will never let you suffer again. I will make you happy." That night, I sat on my bed again. I looked at my hands. They felt warm and cold at the same time. I asked myself again and again, did I do the right thing? Will I be safe? Will I be sorry later? A new life was coming, a strange life, maybe a better one. Maybe not. But I said yes. The days went by slowly. We decided not to have a big wedding party. I didn't like standing in a white dress next to an old groom. To me, it was not a nice scene. I didn't want people to look at us and whisper, so we made it simple. Instead, we went on a trip together. Our relationship was the same as before: respect, care, and affection. We were both satisfied. He only wanted me near him. He held my hands and talked to me. His words were full of experience. Every story he told was interesting to me. He gave me time to get used to my new life. We enjoyed being together. I was thankful to him because he understood me. We visited beautiful places. We went on boat rides. We rode bicycles. We laughed and enjoyed every moment. At night, we each slept in our own bed. There was no pressure, no fear, only calmness. I always watched young couples in love coming to the hotel. I imagined myself one day traveling with my love. But now, I felt like I had come on a trip with my father. After the trip, we went to his house outside the city. It was a beautiful home in a quiet and peaceful place. The yard was big, full of flowers and trees. A kind gardener took care of the garden. "This is my house," he said. "It is your house too now." I looked around at everything. "It is very quiet," I said. "Yes," he said, "but it is safe." That first night I slept in a new room. The bed was big. The pillow was very soft, but I could not sleep. I looked at the ceiling. I felt like a guest in the house. I was not afraid, but I was not calm either. I asked myself, is this really my life now? The next morning, I woke up early. I walked to the kitchen. Adam was already there. He had made tea. He had made bread. The smell was very sweet. A small cup waited for me on the table. "Good morning," he said. "Good morning," I said back. Every day was the same. He made tea. I helped in the kitchen. He worked in his garden. I watched him from the window. He sang small songs while he worked. He looked happy. One afternoon when it was raining, he came inside with a box. "This is for you," he said. "Books." I opened the box. Inside were story books. They had simple words and pretty covers. "Thank you," I said. I smiled a little. We started to talk more after that. I asked him about his garden. He told me about the flowers. I asked him about his past life. He spoke softly. He said that long ago he had loved a girl very deeply. But one day, she died in a car accident. His heart was broken, and he could never forget her. To hide his pain, he threw himself into work. He worked day and night. That was how he built his fortune and became a rich man. Then he looked at me and said softly, "Sarab, you remind me of her. When I see you, I feel something from that old love again." When I heard his words, I felt my heart stop for a moment. I looked at him, but I could not speak. So this was the reason, I thought. I reminded him of his first love, the girl he had lost. I felt strange inside, half warm, half cold. I felt warm because he cared about me, because he wanted me close. But I felt cold because I understood he did not truly see me. He was looking at a shadow from his past. One evening after dinner, he gave me more tea. "I am glad you are here," he said. I looked at him. I felt something new in my chest. Not fear, not duty, just warmth. "Thank you," I said. The next morning, the sun came through the big windows. I woke up and smiled, just a little smile. I walked to the kitchen. He was making bread again. He saw me and said, "Try this one." The bread was still warm. I took a small bite. It tasted sweet and soft. That day he showed me his garden. Many flowers were growing. The herbs smelled very fresh. "Nature teaches us to wait," he said. like that idea. We sat outside for a long time. We talked about books. We talked about simple things. He never asked me about my past life. He never told me how to feel. He just listened to me. He just smiled. That touched my heart. I started to see him differently, not just as an old man. I saw him as a kind man, a person with a gentle heart, someone who never wanted to hurt me, someone who gave things without asking for things back. One night we sat outside on the porch. The stars were very bright. The air was cool. I held my cup of tea and looked at him. He said nothing. I said nothing, but I felt safe. Maybe this was not just about help. Maybe something was growing between us. It was small. It was slow. But it was there. The next day, I helped him in the kitchen. I made soup. He made bread. We laughed when I dropped my spoon. He helped me clean it up. He said, "You are doing very well." That evening, we ate together. I did not feel like a guest anymore. I felt like part of the home. Later, I walked outside alone. I saw two women from the market. They looked at me and talked quietly to each other. One of them said she only married him for his money. The words hit my heart hard. I felt shame. I walked back home quickly. Adam saw my face when I came inside. He touched my hand softly. "Words mean nothing," he said. "I know who you are." I did not cry, but my eyes were wet. That night I asked him, "Why did you help me?" He looked up at the stars. "Because you needed kindness," he said. I felt something move inside my heart. I had never heard words like that before. Not like that. Not for me. The next morning, I woke up early. I made tea for him. I brought it to him in bed. "Thank you," he said. That time I smiled first. Many weeks passed. The days were calm and peaceful. We shared stories and tea. We said few words, but they were true words. I looked at his eyes more. I saw how he looked at me. Not with need, not with power, but with care. I started to feel something new. I did not want to run away. I did not want to hide. I wanted to stay. I was not sure if this was love, but it was more than help, more than duty. It felt real. One morning, Adam left early. He said he needed to go to the city. I stayed home. I drank tea alone, looked at the books he gave me. The house felt quiet, more quiet than usual. I waited by the window. I looked at his garden. I listened to the wind. I missed him. When he came back, I was full of joy. I ran to him and said welcome. He had bought me a gift, but his presence made me even happier. Later that evening, he made tea and sat near me. "You seem happier these days," he said. I looked at him and moved my head. Yes, I think I am." I did not say more, but I felt it in my heart. Not fear, not pain, but peace. I did not feel alone anymore. I did not feel lost. Each day felt softer and better. We worked in the garden together. I painted a small corner of the kitchen. He said it looked beautiful. I smiled more and more. He saw this. he said. My eyes looked brighter. I felt stronger inside. Then the seasons changed. The air became cooler. The sky was very clear. The flowers in the garden opened wide. The rooms in the house felt warm and safe. Adam and I sat by the fire one evening. He looked at me. His eyes were gentle. He reached for my hand. "Are you happy, Sarab?" he asked. I looked at him for a long time. Then I said, "I married you for money, but now I stay because I want to." He touched my face gently. I moved closer to him. Our lips met for the first time. It was not fast. It was soft and warm. Not for gold, not for need. It was for love. That night we sat quietly together. He held my hand. My heart felt very light. I said quietly, "I once had doubts about this. Now I feel everything." He kissed my head softly. "Me too," he said. The days that came after were slow and calm, but everything felt new. We laughed more. We cooked new things. We walked outside often. We watched birds and clouds. We talked about nothing and everything. One day, I walked into town alone. I went to the market. I bought fruit and flour. I smiled at people. They smiled back at me. I did not feel small. I did not feel shame. I felt like someone who belonged. Then I heard two women behind me. They were talking quietly again. "She only did it for the money," one said. "It is not real love." I felt their words hit my back, but this time I did not walk away fast. I stood still. I turned around and looked at them. I did not say anything, but I looked into their eyes. Then I walked away slowly. My head was high. I was not their story. That evening, I told Adam what happened. He listened to me. He said, "People talk when they do not know the truth. But we know the truth. That is enough." I moved my head. Yes, I believed him, and I believed in us. We kept living our simple life, small, quiet days. He showed me how to make sweet jam. I showed him how to paint tiny flowers on the wall. We made a small chair for the garden. We sat there many afternoons, our hands closed together, our hearts open. One morning I brought him tea again. He took my hand and kissed it softly. "Thank you, Sarab," he said. "You are light in this house." I looked at him and said, "So are you." Later, he became sick for 2 days. I took care of him. I made soup for him. I put cool cloths on his head. I read books to him. When he slept, I sat near him. I watched his face. I felt scared, but I also felt sure I did not want to lose him. When he felt better, he smiled and said, "You stayed with me," I said. "Of course I did." Then I said quietly, "I love you." It was the first time I said those words out loud. He looked at me with water in his eyes. "I love you too," he said. The next many seasons passed. Our love grew like the garden. Not fast, not loud, but deep and strong. I did not feel poor anymore. I did not feel lost. I felt loved. I felt strong inside. One afternoon, I sat with him outside. I held his hand. We looked at the sky together. He said, "You saved me." I said, "No, you saved me." He smiled. Maybe we saved each other, and I knew this was true. What started as a marriage for money became something much more. It became real love. Love that grew slowly, like flowers in a garden. Love that was built on kindness and care. Love that showed me I was worth loving. Sometimes the best things in life come when we don't expect them. Sometimes love finds us when we think we are lost. And sometimes one thing changes into something else. It becomes beautiful and real. It becomes something that we want to keep it forever. Dear friends, thank you for watching. I need your support. Please like this video. Subscribe to my channel. Comment your thoughts. Share the video with your friends. Thanks a lot